Okay, so today we're going to ask a question. We've been going through the Haggadah, and basically we talked about the matzah at the beginning. We talked about the Manish Tanah. Last night we talked about the 4 sons and the 4 different mitzvahs of the night. Today I want to start with a very, very fundamental question about the Korbon Pesach. In the Haggadah, if you have a Haggadah there, you'll see it says the Korbon Pesach. Why do we eat the Korbon Pesach? Who wants to read? You guys have Haggadahs? You're supposed to have Haggadahs. You guys remember to have Haggadahs? A what?
I have to get one.
You have to get one. Okay. She, you have a gut over there?
Yeah.
Okay, why don't you read for us? It says, Pesach shehayu avoseinu ochlin bizman shebeis hamikdash haya kayam.
Sorry, 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fine. Okay. Should I read?
Yes, please.
Okay. Pesach shehayu avotenu ochlin bizman shebeis hamikdash haya kayam al shuma. Al shum shepesach hakodesh baruch hu al Bate Avotenu b'Mitzrayim Shnayamar v'Martem Zevach Pesach hu Hashem Asher Pesach al Bate V'nei Yisrael b'Mitzrayim b'Nagfo et Mitzrayim v'Apatenu Etzil v'Ayikod Ha'am v'Yishtachu.
Excellent. So can you just summarize that in English for all of us? What is it basically saying over there? Why do we eat the Korbon Pesach?
We're saying we eat the Korbon Pesach as a sechira for that Hashem passed over our houses in Mitzrayim.
Excellent. And saved us.
Oh, where can I find us in the Haggadah?
It's in the towards the middle. It's after. Tell me where you are in the Haggadah. Who's asking us? David?
Eric, yeah.
Yeah. Just tell me where you are, and I'll tell you where to go, because I don't know how to describe it exactly without. Can you just give me a Mar Malcolm? Open to something. Can you find Dayenu for me? It's after Dayenu. It's before Tzei Ulamad. I don't know exactly. I mean, it's after Tzei Ulamad. It's before we start eating. Towards the end there, before the Hallel. You got it over there?
Yeah, I think I'll find it. Before Hallel? It's good.
Yeah, it's before we start the first part of the Hallel. You got it, Nady?
I couldn't find the Haggadah, Rob.
You couldn't find Haggadah?
I mean, I was too lazy to look for a Haggadah.
Too lazy to look for it. Sounds more accurate. Okay.
That's basically it.
Okay. It'd be good to get a Haggadah because there's a couple.
I'm gonna go right now. Now I got the.
You get one now. Oh, you get one now because yeah. Okay. Okay.
What's the word shfocha matcha al hagoyim?
It's way before that.
Okay.
You got it?
What's the words?
Pesach shehayu avoseinu ochlin. Avram, you still there?
Yeah.
Yeah, just be patient. We'll get there. I know
I'm here.
We'll get there. I just want to get these guys set up over here.
Yeah.
Alex,
I'm with you.
Okay. Pesach. So it says over there, what happened to Alex? Alex.
Yeah, Rob, I'm still here.
Okay, good. Okay, listen carefully. So you guys, there's a very, very, very important question over here, which is a very nice question to present to your Seder, which is as follows. That we're saying over here, we offer the Korbon Pesach as a thank you that Hashem didn't kill us when he came down and he struck the Mitzrayim's firstborn down. Right? It says, he saved us, Benagfo es Mitzrayim v'espatenu etzil, and he saved our houses. And there's a very obvious question over here that when do we bring the Korbon Pesach before the Makos Bechoros? So we're telling him that when Hashem came down personally, did Makos Bechoros and kill all the Mitzrayim, he didn't kill us. So the question is very obvious. Why in the world would he kill us? He's giving the Mitzrayim, he's killing the Mitzrayim, not us. He's coming to save us. Imagine if you'd have people get kidnapped, a person gets kidnapped, and they send a special police team in to rescue the person. He comes and he kills the kidnappers, he rescues the person, and the person who was rescued says, well, thank you so much for not killing me. What does that mean? And he said, what am I for not killing you? Thank you for not killing me. Why would he kill? He's going to save you. The whole point is, why do we have Makos Bechoros? It's very clear. Hashem tells Paro at the very beginning that if you don't let the Jewish people out, who are my firstborn, I'm going to kill your firstborn. So why in the world would we need to thank Hashem for not killing us. We're his firstborn. He's only doing it. He's only killing them because of us. You guys understand the question?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's a great question.
It's a great question. Oh, right. And if you don't believe me, right, you see, I mean, you have to believe me, but it's for sure. It's not my question. I didn't make it up. Many people asked this question before I was born. And you see that we have something called the firstborn fast. Did you ever hear about the first, or any of you guys firstborns?
Before
There's something
Pesach?
called the fast of the firstborn. Firstborns classically, a lot of times we have siyums now, where you make a siyum on Erev Pesach, so firstborn doesn't have to fast, right? But why would the firstborn theoretically fast? He fasts because Hashem saved us and didn't kill the firstborn, so the firstborn is in danger. So the question is, why in the world, again, you just see the same idea, that the firstborns were so much in danger that for all generations, the firstborns are fasting. You got it, you guys? You guys understand the question?
Yeah, it's a really good question, Rav.
Nady, you got it? Nady was looking for Haggadah before. I just want to make sure Nady's back and ask the question before we move on.
Yeah, I'm back. Good.
Did you hear the question?
Yeah. Couldn't get the Haggadah though.
Okay, but you got the question. That's all we need, really.
Yeah.
Okay. Alex, you got the question?
Got it.
All right, okay. So in order to understand the answer to this question, we have to understand more about Makos Bechoros and what was the significance of leaving specifically on Makos Bechoros. Okay, Makos Bechoros was not just the final Makkah. In addition to being the final Makkah, it also represented the beginning of the Geula itself. Okay, now we have to understand what exactly was the Geula from Mitzrayim. The Geula from Mitzrayim was not just a way to get the Jews out of Mitzrayim. Okay, the Leshem explains, as does the Shlah, as does the Maharal, that actually Yetzias Mitzrayim was the beginning of a creation of a new world. Did you ever hear that before? Yetzias Mitzrayim was the beginning of the new world. Never heard that, David? Now you did. Now you did, She. Yetzias Mitzrayim was the beginning of a new creation. And basically, the idea is like this. Actually, the Vilna Gaon alludes to this in his Haggadah. The Vilna Gaon has a pirush on the Haggadah. It says, Baruch HaMakom Baruch Hu Baruch Shenosam Torah L'Amo Yisrael. And he says, why does it repeat that statement? Because that is an allusion, says the Vilna Gaon in his Haggadah, to two different creations. Baruch HaMakom is referring to the original creation. Who's eating? So I got a lot of crunching over here. Something's messing up my, thank you. Right? So So Baruch HaMakom, that is an allusion to the first creation, which happened at Ma'aseh Bereshis. And Baruch Shenasan Torah L'Yisrael is the second creation, which began at Yetzias Mitzrayim. That's why it's in the Haggadah, and it finished off in Matan Torah. There's a certain new recreation which is happening, which is basically going to put the Jewish people in the place of Adam Rishon. Okay? Now, the beginning of that new creation has something to do particularly with Makos Bechoros. What is the connection between Makos Bechoros and that new creation? You guys with me?
Yes, Rav.
Okay. The idea is that the central point of that new creation is that everything in the world has to connect back directly to God. So anything that is going to be a conceptual at least, different starting point has to leave, which means any kind of a Bechor is kind of a starting point of the family. The Bechor is the firstborn of the next generation. So that represents a certain starting point, okay? So any starting points have to leave, okay? The Jewish people, when Hashem presents his warning to Paro, he says, B'ni Bechor Yisrael. Yisrael is my firstborn and my son, and that is referring to the concept of a firstborn from the father. There's a difference between a firstborn from the mother and a firstborn from the father. Have you guys ever heard about this before?
Yeah.
What's the difference halachically between a firstborn from the mother and a firstborn from the father?
Doesn't the mother define if you're Jewish or not?
Yes, but that's nothing to do with the firstborn. There's a difference between a firstborn of a mother gets certain halachas and a firstborn of a father gets different halachas. You guys know?
Doesn't it have to do with inheritance and something like that?
Excellent, excellent. So a firstborn of a father gets a double portion. Excellent. A firstborn of a mother does not get a double portion. However, a firstborn of a mother gets something called a pidyon haben, whereas a firstborn of a father does not get a pidyon haben. If the man has two wives, right, if a man has a wife and she was already married, so theoretically it doesn't have to be the firstborn of the mother, it could be just the firstborn of the father, and so it's the other way. Okay? So there's two different dinim. Now it happens to be that the Jewish people are both aspects of firstborn of Hashem, and each one has a whole different world associated with it. The idea of being a firstborn of the father, right, is that the firstborn of the father becomes a direct extension of the father. So he's not just himself, he's also expressing the father. That's why he gets a double inheritance, because he gets his own inheritance, plus he gets the extra aspect of inheritance because he's representing his fathers. That's called Pishnayim. You guys understand what I'm saying? Yes? Clear?
Yeah.
So the idea is that when Hashem took us out, right, there had to be a certain quality of a new creation where the Jewish people had to reconnect to Hashem. They had to reconnect to Hashem and become his firstborn. Okay, which means to say the firstborn is the Rashis. It's called, Reuven was called Rashis Onah of Yaakov. The Rashis Onah means the first power of the father. Okay, so in order for the new creation to be achieved properly, okay, the Jewish people had to move into a new state which was bigger than themselves, because the bottom line is they're not as firstborn on the simple level. They weren't born as firstborn. This whole state of the Jewish people becoming Hashem's firstborn from the Father was going to start over here, and that was going to be the central point of the new creation, that this world was going to have a direct extension of godliness into it through a firstborn who was going to represent God, in essence, which was going to be the Jewish people. Okay? So that being the case, right, the Makos Bechoros itself was going to kill all firstborns. Okay? In order for the Jewish people to merit this state of accepting that new state that they were supposed to get, they had to do something, which we'll see in a second, which is called the Korbon Pesach. The Korbon Pesach itself, for reasons which I will explain to you in a moment, expressed the idea of the Jewish people accepting this new state. And if they wouldn't have done that, right, they would not have been able to make the transition into the new world properly, and their firstborns also would have died. You understand? Because every firstborn in the old state was in danger. The only way they got out of it, and we all got out of it, right, was because we moved up to a new state where we could accept our new relationship as being the firstborn of God.
Hopefully this year we'll bring a Korbon Pesach, Rav.
But what?
Hopefully this year we'll bring a Korbon Pesach.
I hope so. I sure hope so. I sure hope so.
All right, Alex.
Definitely could be. Definitely
Lady, you
should
got
be.
that?
And if
Yes.
not this year, then next year.
Hey,
Lady, you got your
It's
Haggadah?
definitely, you should know, these years, there's definitely a special, there's a lot of Ramazim. You know, when we talk about when Mashiach comes, there are different years which are more Mesugal. You know, Mesugal means to say fitting for redemption. And for sure, these are some of the years. If you guys are going to stick around, I'll show you in the Az Yashir, there's a certain allusion to this year or next year in terms of redemption, which, you know, but again, there's different times. It doesn't mean everything that's potential always going to happen. Everything's got to be, it's got to be ready from a lot of different aspects. We'll see. So basically, this was the problem. This was the topic. You know, it says when the redemption came, so the Jews did not have the schus to leave. That's what Chazal say, and therefore they had to have the Korbon Pesach to get them out. And the question is, why shouldn't the Jews have the schus to leave? Avram, you know, Hashem promised Avram he was going to take out his children, and Paro did very bad things. So let's just let him leave. What's the problem? So the problem is this, that even though they were going to leave, the leaving was not just about leaving. The leaving itself was not just the redemption, it was the beginning of a new creation. And the Jews did not have the merit in themselves to receive that new redemption, that new creation in itself. They weren't at that level yet. If they would have stayed afloat for 400 years, it could be they wouldn't have needed the Korbon Pesach, like we said before. But since they were leaving early, they did not have the merit to receive that level of being a firstborn of Hashem for real. Therefore, they needed the Korbon Pesach to receive that level. That's what the Korbon Pesach does. The Korbon Pesach, that represents the idea that we are one with Hashem and we are going to represent Him in this world. You guys understand what I'm saying? So when we bring the Korbon Pesach, we're thanking Hashem for saving us. That's part of the Korbon Pesach itself. Is we're expressing. We're going to see there's two parts to the Korbon Pesach. Yeah, and one part of it, particularly the eating part, it's like a Korbon Todah. We're thanking Hashem. It's like a shlomit, right? And we're thanking Hashem for saving us. You guys understand what I'm saying? A little bit. Okay. Now, when we shechted the Korbon Pesach, what basically happened is we're basically showing that we are serving Hashem and representing Him in the world. The Medrash says, you'll see, I sent you guys all a paper. Avram, you can send me, I have your email, I'll send you a paper also. Wasn't expecting you to show up here, so I didn't send you a paper. Yeah. We'll put you on the list. And basically, the Medrash says that we're supposed to shecht the Korbon Pesach down here, and Hashem is going to kill the firstborns, which means the firstborns, when Hashem was killing the firstborns, he was actually killing the firstborns as a response to our Korbon Pesach. It means once we expressed this idea in the world that we're his firstborns, that actually actualized the whole Makas Bechoros. We killed the first, we shechted the Korbon Pesach, then Hashem let them have it with the firstborns, because now all the firstborns have to go that aren't going to be connected to him. That which allowed us to survive and our firstborns to survive is because we raised up to a level that we were not our own source. Hashem was our source. Just like a firstborn of the Father is an extension of something that comes before him, right? So too the Jewish people as a whole became extensions of Hashem, and therefore they did not represent an independent starting point. Therefore they were saved from Makas Bechoros. You guys understand? Alex.
Yeah, Rav.
Alex.
I didn't get that 100%.
Okay, it's pretty deep. I'm going to try again. Nady, you think you got it there? Nady. Nady, we see you. We don't see you. Now we do. Maybe.
Nady.
Yeah, no, one more time, maybe, please.
One more time. Does anybody think they got it? Avram, you think you got it? You got it, Avram?
I think so. I mean,
Okay, give it over to everybody, okay? You're a teacher, give it over.
me?
You.
I mean,
Go, Avram.
which
No
part?
pressure.
Avraham.
Avram.
I mean,
Okay, let's go.
the
Avram,
idea.
please.
I mean, I don't know how far back to go, but like, you know, the idea is that we want to show that we're the direct children of God, and like we are the ones in this world that are His direct firstborn, and like if anyone else has any other notion of being a firstborn to anything other than God, like a firstborn child, like to his father or something like that, that idea can't exist at the same time as us trying to establish ourselves as firstborns of God. So like at Makkah Bechorot, every single firstborn that isn't a firstborn of God directly needs to go, because the whole idea is the world is becoming a new place that only God's firstborns are here, and they're the ones that are going to kind of, you know, do whatever needs to be done in this world. Anything else that isn't a firstborn directly to him, it's not going to work. So even though we're Jewish, we have this firstborn connection to our Father, so we need to kind of like earn a merit to live. And this is the idea, which is kind of hard, but like by us slaughtering an animal, somehow we're establishing the fact that we are God's firstborn only. And you know, that's like our proclamation to the world. And once we've done that, we can now merit to live, because even though we're firstborn to a human, by us slaughtering, we're saying no, even though we have a dad that's our firstborn, really we're God's firstborn, because that's what we just did, his mitzvah. And then we're not going to die. And then when God killed all the other firstborns, it's because we just proclaimed we are his only firstborn, so no other firstborn can live now. Like after we slaughter the animal, we're saying, okay, we're the firstborns of God. Now the world's going to have to start fresh with only God's firstborn. We just have to make sure that's true. Anything else has to leave now. So then like all the other firstborns die. And I was going to ask, does that mean like every other firstborn in the world or just in Egypt? I mean.
Excellent. Okay. So you're saying excellent. There's one, we have to go back an extra step though. Okay,
Yeah.
we're going back an extra step. Listen carefully. Alex, you with me? Nady, you with me? Yeah,
We're
Alex?
with you, Rav.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
listen carefully.
Yeah, man.
Hashem, the Makkos Bechoros was not just a way to get the Jewish people out, okay? Yetzias Mitzrayim was the beginning of a new creation, and one of the most central points of this new creation, which made it different than the old creation, okay, was that there was going to be a direct connection of God to this world. It means to say Hashem was going to be representing himself straight into the world through the Jewish people. Up to this point, after Adam Rishon got messed up, there was no direct connection between God and the world anymore in terms of a representative of God into the world directly. Do you guys understand what I'm saying so far?
Yes.
Yetzias Mitzrayim was a new creation which was going to recreate man. This time, the man was not just going to be called man, who was going to be an expression of God's, godliness. It was going to be a man who was going to be the firstborn of God. So it was going to be a more intimate connection, which was going to have Rachman, was going to be like a son who was representing dad, right? So there was going to be a direct connection between God and his world through his son. that was essential in order to bring the world to its completion. There has to be a direct connection between God and the world. There's got to be a representative in God, in the world of God. So now, at first it was Adam Rishon, now it's going to be his firstborn, right? Who's a little bit more intimate than Adam Rishon was. You guys understand what I'm saying a little bit right now? You following? So this is the beginning of the new creation. Now, because this new creation required a child who is going to represent God, that is something which is bigger than the Jewish people. The Jewish people might be very nice people and they might be very holy relatively to the rest of the world, but to be a direct extension of God, like the firstborn of God, is something which comes from the firstborn has to come from the father. It can't come from the child. He's representing the father. It starts with the father. He's representing the father. So that state is something which is bigger than us. Okay, you following? Nady, you got it? So far, so good, Nady?
Nady, can you
Yes.
repeat that?
Yeah. Yes.
You guys keep your speakers on so I can hear. I got to have contact. So I'll make sure you're getting the step by step over here.
Yeah.
So
Nady, you're sure?
Shut up, Alex. Yes. I'm
so
good.
part of the Makos Bechoros itself, what Makos Bechoros did, okay, it was showing that anything that is going to be anything in the world, at least in Mitzrayim, right, which is going to be a alternative starting point. The point is, when we say that Hashem has to have a representative in the world, that means to say Hashem is going to be the new ultimate starting point of the new creation. He's the Rashis, and everything comes out from him. So even the other nations, they're going to connect onto the Jews. The Jews are going to be the first expression of God. Everything else in the external world is going to be second expression. But everything's going to have a certain root back to God himself in this way. The Jews are going to be the first expression. Everything else is going to join on with that. So anything in the world means any firstborn who would potentially be a first new start. A firstborn is conceptually a new start. So any new start which wasn't God himself was going to be removed to show that God is the new start. The new world is going to start with God as the Rashis of this world, and anything that's going to have a relative quality of Rashis, which includes all firstborns, has got to go to show that God is the first source. Now, how did the Jews get saved? Because God saved them because he made them his direct extension. So they were not an independent first source. They were an extension of him, just like the firstborn of a son, the firstborn of the father is a direct extension of the father, right? He's not his own start. So too, all the Jewish people, they raised up to a state being a direct extension of Hashem. Therefore, they weren't threatening God's starting point because they were an extension of him. You guys understand what I'm saying? I see you, Benji, over there. Just 1 second. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I got it. Nady, you got it?
So far, so the Korbon Pesach, what the Korbon Pesach, we're going to explain this in more detail in a moment. What the Korbon Pesach does, the Korbon Pesach represents our oneness with Hashem and Hashem's oneness into the world. We're going to see why. We're going to tell you 10 different aspects, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 8, not 9, but 10 different aspects in the Korbon Pesach. 10, which show how it represents God's oneness in the world. So as God's children, we're going to reflect God's oneness into the world. That shows that we're his children, they're here to serve him. The extension of God, God is one. So his extension has to show his oneness into the world. We're going to be like his long arm, which is going to show his oneness in the world through the Korbon Pesach. And that's basically the root of all of our avodah. The Korbon Pesach in a certain way, that's the way that we show that we are here to serve him. The firstborn of the Father, he serves the Father. He expresses the Father. So too, the Jewish people who were God's firstborn, they serve him, they express his oneness into the world. So that Korbon Pesach, that's what allowed us to raise up to accept the state of being his firstborn. If we would not have accepted that, then we couldn't live there. We have to show that we're fitting for it. We're going to accept that relationship. So accepting this Korbon Pesach, which represents God's oneness in the world, that was the qualification which was required to accept the new state of being God's firstborn. And therefore, the Jewish people were, even the firstborns of Jewish people were saved. And we just added on at the end that when they did this and they showed they accepted they were the firstborn, and then Hashem brought in the new creation, which would wipe out everything else, which blocking the idea of God being the Rashis. You guys got it? Yes, Benjamin.
Yeah.
Nady.
That was a yes. That was a good. You got it. It was a question or not. I don't hear you though. I see your lips moving, but I can't hear anything.
Yeah, I can't hear you either.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. You look like you're a pilot.
According to that logic, shouldn't all firstborns in the world have been destroyed? Not just the Mitzrayim?
Yeah, that's fine, but that's the I hear it was because it was coming as a yes, but I guess not. God was speaking to the Mitzrayim. He was explaining Mitzrayim. That was like the main world power at the time. So that can represent everybody. Even though, yes, it's true theoretically, but that's not the way Hashem did it. Yeah, it's not. He was coming. It was still coming as the 10th Makkah, right? But it was a certain representation of what was happening. But you're correct. Theoretically, there could have been such a thought, just like in Kriyas Yamsuf, all the water split. Like
Right.
similarly, but he didn't do it. Hashem was nice. He might kill everybody. What did all these firstborns all in the world know? Got it? Okay. So that is the answer to the question. So that is the reason why,
Can I ask something
in
too?
any case, we have to thank Hashem with the Korbon Pesach. Now, what are the different aspects of the Korbon Pesach which represent God's oneness? Okay, so let's go through that right now.
Can I ask a
How does
question?
what?
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
Is it just the Jewish firstborns that were in threat to being wiped out, or also like the Jews in general? I mean, the Korbon was only to save the firstborns of the Jews.
That's an excellent question. So the answer would seem to be like this. Means the Korbon itself, what I explained just now, okay? You with me, Avram?
Yeah.
The Korbon itself was required by everybody in order to accept that state of being a firstborn. So everybody brought it to accept that state of being a firstborn. Okay? The ones who were actively in danger were only the firstborns.
Okay.
But we all got the state of being a firstborn of God from the Korbon Pesach. You understand?
Okay.
Clear?
Yeah.
Good. Now we have to know that at this level, the Korbon Pesach really represents our neshama. The Korbon Pesach itself represents the tikkun of the neshama, whereas the matzah, like we explained yesterday or 2 days ago, has more to do with the physical body. Okay, but the Korbon Pesach itself has to do with the neshama, and this is actually one of the reasons why the Korbon Pesach is actually called Pesach. Pesach is a lesson of the mouth speaks, because the neshama's power comes through the mouth. There's a very direct connection between the Korbon Pesach and speaking. Okay, because again, we acquire our neshama through our mouth. When our mouth is used to sanctify Hashem's name in the world, that strengthens our neshama in us. That's what gives us the ability to have holy speech as a neshama. That's the only way the neshama finds expression in the world really is through speech. That's why it's called Pesach. This is what, in every year when we bring Bezrat Hashem, even this year, we'll be able to bring a Korbon Pesach, I hope, right? Like Alex suggested perhaps, right? And that reconnects our neshama every year. Because like we've explained many times in the classes, I think, the neshama is really what makes us a firstborn. So in Pesach, we got our neshama, the neshama became actualized. That's when we became the Jewish people, like we explained in the previous classes. And this is the Korbon Pesach. Now, how does the Korbon Pesach represent God's oneness? Who knows, where do you see in the halachas of the Korbon Pesach different aspects of oneness?
Everyone has to, the whole nation has to eat it.
We did this in Israel, I think.
When you were here?
I think I remember this. Yeah, you can't break the bones.
Okay, there's a lot of things. We did this whole thing when you were here also. If we did this, we did it all. This has been going on for many years. So there's this part you remember, this part, that's all fine. So what do you remember? We broke the bones, okay, good. What else? So there's a halacha, Avram's saying one, so we got 1 out of 10 so far. Avram's saying there's a certain halacha, a specific halacha. These 10 things, by the way, they're all from the Maral. There's other ways to understand these different halachic things that I'm going to tell you now. There's different possibilities also. He says it's all about the oneness. So there's a special halacha by the Korbon Pesach. You can't break the bones to get if you want to eat the bone marrow, you can't break the bones. You're not allowed to break the bones of the Korbon Pesach. Okay, and he says that's because the Korbon Pesach represents oneness. So you can't make it two that this things are supposed to be one there. You guys understand? That's number one. There's another idea, which is that the Korbon Pesach has to be roasted. So the Maharal says that roasting something, that unifies it all together. When you roast it, you take out the liquid part, right? And that solidifies it all together. Because that makes it more one. When you boil something in water, that separates it. It makes everything separate. It takes everything apart. You guys understand
Nady, you got that? Nady.
Yeah,
Hey,
yes,
you got
and yes, I got it. And Alex, stop.
Hard.
Alex, you explain it.
Okay, fine. We had 2 things. One, you can't break the bone. And 2, about the roasting and the boiling. So the roasting, when you roast something, it tends to come together. But you boil it, it tends to separate. So
Excellent.
it shows the oneness.
Excellent. So that's 2 out of 10. The next thing is you have to eat it in one place. Everybody's in one place. It has to be in one area. You can't leave the place you're eating and eat it someplace else also. That's number 3. That's the third thing. The fourth, another thing is you have to all be, when you eat it, you have to have one group. You can't just bring people in from the outside. You have to all sign up together. There's one unified group that's going to eat it. It's one chabura. That's also something about unification. Okay. Another thing, that's number 4. Number 5, I'm going to send you a paper with this. It'll all be written on the paper. I didn't send it to you yet. I did send you guys an email, but I don't think I attached this. So I have to resend this again. Okay. A fifth thing is that you have to, when you're roasting it, it has to be roasted as one piece. You can't cut it up into pieces and like, make a fillet out of it. You got to roast it as a whole sheep, whole goat, whatever the animal is. You guys understand? That's also an idea of unity. Another idea he says is particularly a sheep, because I think this is number 6, because a sheep is something which it's behemoth, it's a small animal, and actually the Jewish people are compared to a sheep because it's the language of Chazal is if you poke one part of the sheep, the whole animal quivers. It means it's all unified together, just like the Jewish people. If one person, the Jewish people, is suffering, so everybody's supposed to be suffering. There's a certain unity between the whole group. It's unified. So the animal is a small animal that makes the whole animal together is unified, says the Maharal. That's why it's got to be a sheep particularly. You guys following?
Wait, sheep specifically will quiver as
A
opposed
sheep, it could be also a goat. A goat's also kosher. Anything, a giddy is also kosher. Right? So it's going to be any kind of a behemoth daka. This one called a behemoth daka, which is these kinds of smaller animals, as opposed to a cow or a bull.
Okay.
Not so many choices, but the small ones, those are the ones that quiver. That's why they're, yeah. There's another
Just like
idea.
a sheep will quiver, a sheep will quiver, what will happen? So just like.
It says if you take a pin, I don't advise doing this, but if you poke, you cause pain to one part of the animal, the whole thing quivers. So the Maharal says that's because it's like the whole animal is unified together. That's what he says. Okay. Another thing he says is we have to eat it at Bein Arbaim. Bein Arbaim means Bein Arbaim is like the end of the day when it starts getting dark. That's when you're supposed to sheft it. And the idea being, he says that because that's the time when the 2 days unify together. The day is unifying with this day is unifying with the next day. So that's another aspect of unification. Okay.
But wouldn't that be at like Arab, like the Arab time?
So it is Arab time, but it's called, the Torah calls it Bein Harbaim, between the Arbaim. Lashon of Arab is actually, Arab itself means it's a mixture. Arab, the word Arab itself.
I thought it was like afternoon.
It's late afternoon. It's supposed to be late afternoon.
No, that's Saharayim, Nady.
Got it. I thought Saharayim was like Ben Arbaim.
That's right. 1 second. 1 second. Just 1 second here. Okay. So
We got
there's
7,
another-
yeah?
Can we kick Alex off the Zoom?
We have 7 now, right?
I think so. Yeah. 1 second. I'm looking for this. Here it is. Okay. I'm just calling up the file. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember myself. 1 second. I got the file now on my screen. 1 second. Okay. You have to eat it in one place. It's got to be 1 year old. It's got to be 1 year old. The Korbon Pesach can't be. It's got to be in its first year. Yeah, that's called also achdus in terms of numbers. It's got to be 1 year old. He says it has to be a male, and he says males have to do more with achdus than females do, he says. Okay. You have to know about that. And then he says that it's got to be eaten with matzah and marorim, and maror, matzah and maror together. So the idea being that the matzah represents the idea of rachamim, and maror represents the idea of din. Okay, so the Pesach unifies both together. So that's again the idea of unification. It's bringing both things together. That's a 10th connection between the. That's a 10th.
Which is Rachamim? Which is Din?
Maror represents Din, and Matzah represents Rachamim.
Maybe. Yeah, that's common sense right there.
Really? Is that common sense? Okay.
Yeah, because Maror is like it's like thick. It's it's thin.
Yeah, Maror. You got. Why just as long as we're already here? Why does matzah represent? This needs understanding a little bit. Why does matzah represent? It's interesting. We call it Chag HaMatzot. Yeah. So Pesach is also called the Chag HaEmunah, the holiday of faith. Right? It's called the Chag. I don't know if you know this, but it's called the Chag HaEmunah. The reason for that is matzah is called the bread of Emunah. Why? So they left very quickly and they trusted Hashem. It says they trusted Hashem They really didn't have enough food to go out on the path, right? And they just followed Hashem. Now, the matzah itself, chametz alludes to din, okay? And matzah alludes to rachamim. So we have to understand, why does chametz, matzah alludes to rachamim? Because there's no din in it. There's no chametz in it. Chametz has something to do with din. And you guys, you need to think, what does din have to do with chametz? You understand the question?
Isn't Rachamim, Chesed, and Din perfectly balanced?
Not exactly. No. Not
Rob,
exactly.
what's the question?
When you talk about that, it's too vague. You're missing. If you talk about it like that, I don't know exactly what I would say, but it's not. You're missing the neshama of what Rachamim is. It's not a barcode.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's
Black,
like
white, black, white.
the right balance of having how much.
Yeah, but you can't use the right balance to, if I'm going to tell you, isn't green the right balance of blue and yellow? So you don't know what green is. You have no idea. It doesn't mean anything. It's totally meaningless. See what I'm saying? So you can't use words like that over here. It doesn't, Racham, you see what I'm saying? You have to know you have to know. It's a new thing. It is definitely related with the combination of din and rach, but you have to have the background understand what's going on to make it have meaning, those words. Okay.
Does it have something to do with the wheat, Rav?
It definitely does. Everything has to do with wheat. Everything has to do with wheat. We're spiritual farmers, David. It's all wheat.
Rob, did you explain the question?
Yeah, I just want to know, the Rishonim discuss, this is a side point relative to the main class, but it's an important point. I don't know if I'm going to give you another class about it, so I feel I might as well just touch on the point now. Maybe I will give you a class, but I'm not sure. But the Rishonim explain that chametz alludes to the concept of din. And the question, that's why matzah itself represents rachamim, because matzah being this bread without chametz, that's what makes it rachamim. There's no din there, so that's what makes it rachamim. Okay, so what is the illusion? What does that mean? Why is there a connection between chametz and din? Okay, so the answer is as follows: the concept of chametz is something which happens.
Can I try to answer?
Sure, but it's a little bit difficult. I'm just warning you in advance. So if you don't get it, that's fine.
Yeah, no, it's probably not right. I think like this is what I thought about.
Please.
Like chametz rises, so like as you rise, it's like more gaiva and everything like that. And Hashem doesn't like gaiva, so he judges with din. But chametz is more humble. So I mean, matzah is like more humble, is lower, so he judges.
I like that, Alex.
Okay, you got Alex, you gotta vote.
Rav, you got a cup on his shoulders, Rav.
Okay.
Alex, I like
good,
it. I like
good.
it, Alex. I'm
You
with
got
you.
it's even 80. That counts for 2 votes. 1 vote from 80 for Alex. It counts for 2. Excellent. Okay. Listen carefully. I'm going to tell you a different idea. Okay. The idea is like this: that chametz, when the dough turns to bread, there's a certain process there which is of development. Okay. The pure mixture of wheat and water, which makes the dough that turns into bread, that's called the pure process which is happening, which is supposed to come to its completion to become bread. Okay? When things don't come to their proper completion, right, that's what makes din, which means man is supposed to develop himself and actualize himself properly. When man doesn't do that, that awakens din to say, well, so why isn't he doing it properly? What are we going to do about this now? He's not doing his job properly to actualize himself properly. You guys understand what I'm saying? So when things don't make it to their proper completion, that actually makes din. Now there's got to be din. What went wrong over here? Somebody have to pay for this. Was it onus? What happened exactly? You understand what I'm saying? So the chametz, that is really a foreign body. The chametz is not really part of the process. Well, if we have a class, I hope we'll have a class about this later, but chametz is actually a foreign body. It's when it's like the ra. Chametz is like ra, and what happens is when things do not come to their proper completion fast enough, right? Then chametz comes in and blocks that completion. So in a certain quality, it's like a negative foreign body in the creation, right? The neshama, there's a certain process of combination between the neshama and guf, which is represented by the matzah. And when it expresses quickly and fastly, that shows the full expression of the guf as it's supposed to be connected to the neshama. Okay? When it doesn't get done fast enough, because the guf isn't keeping up, then something called chametz gets in there and messes up the goof, so it can't come to its proper completion. Just like in the bread has the chametz in it. Now it can't be pure bread anymore. It's not pure anymore. So it can't become pure bread. It's got bread with chametz now. You guys understand what I'm saying a little bit? So that's exactly the root of din. The root of din is when things don't come to their pure completion in a proper way. The matzah represents the pure connection between neshama and goof with nothing else added. And when the goof doesn't connect with the neshama properly in that way, fast enough, right, then you get the chametz. You get the Yetzer Hara. Right? But that's called din. That's where din comes from. You understand? So this process, when things are not brought to their completion fast enough, that awakens din. So chametz, when we're eating this bread, Pesach itself is a time, this is very important to understand, the whole process of the 7 days of Pesach is a time of recreation, like we spoke about in previous classes, in the panemius. You know what panemius means? The inside heart of what's happening, the inside heart of what's happening. Thank you for that hand. Beautiful, Alex. Right? The inside heart of what's happening is our trust in Hashem that He's going to do it for us even if we don't deserve it. Even if we don't deserve it completely, right? Hashem is bringing us out just like the Jews left Mitzrayim from the 49th level of Tumah. They couldn't have done worse as they tried. They couldn't have done worse. They were on the 49th level. They wanted to leave. They were on the 49th level. The ones who didn't want to leave didn't leave. Our job is we got to want to leave. We want to try to get out of our Yetzer Hara. But the 7 days of Pesach, Hashem is leading us, trying to help us to make ourselves into a new creation. And what we need to do is trust Him that He's going to do chesed with us and rachmim with us. We'll explain to Him chesed and rachmim in a second. He's going to rachmim on us and help us to have the recreation even if we don't really deserve it. You understand? The 7 days of Pesach themselves, you have to know, sometimes you're going to have a lot of nisyonos. There could be a lot of nisyonos because it's a process of still running away from Mitzrayim until Kriyas Yamsuf, which is the seventh day. There's a process of running away from Mitzrayim, which means the Yetzer Hara might be very strong on these days, right? What do? We try to beat the Yetzer Hara, we eat the matzah, and we trust that Hashem is going to help us even if we don't really deserve it 100%, right? That's what gives us the merit to get recreated. That's why it's called the bread of Emunah. Because when we're eating it, we're remembering that even though we might not deserve perfect rachamim, we have emunah in Hashem that He's going to take us out and He's going to do it for us even if we don't really deserve it. That's why it's called, that's the idea of eating matzah for 7 days. You guys understand what I'm saying? Yes?
Yeah, so that's how it's rachamim.
Yeah, so because the matzah has no chametz in it, and therefore it has no din in it, right? So it's rachamim. Right, because there's no din in it anymore. It has no din, so that has an idea of rachmim. What's the idea of rachmim? Rachmim means to say. The Maharal explains that rachmim.
Only if you're deserving.
No, not necessarily.
Because I thought rachamim like.
Let me explain what rachmim is. Okay, there's a difference. What's the difference between chesed and rachmim?
Chesed. I thought rachamim is like only like if you like do like good deeds, so then Hashem will have rachamim on you. Chesed, it's just free giving. Like He can give it to Hashem gives chesed to every single person that lives on planet Earth. Hashem gives rachamim to people who serve Him but need help.
Excellent. Accept.
You're a killer.
Excellent.
You're a killer, Alex.
Chesed is free giving. So that's like the Shemayim's giving to the arts. There's not necessarily a connection between the Shemayim, between the giver and taker. That's called chesed. You understand, Avram? That's the concept of chesed. It's free giving. So Hashem, like Alex said so nicely, Hashem is constantly giving to everything. Even the biggest Rishonim are constantly receiving from Hashem because they have to live. There's nothing, He's constantly giving. He's like the sun. He just shines in everything. The sun's like Him. He gives concentration to everything. Okay? Rachamim, okay? Just forget about the deserving part for a second. Okay? Rachamim is about connection. A father or a mother is connected with their child. You understand? So when you have a connection, interconnection between two things, so that one thing feels for the needs of the other as if it's their own needs, that's called rachamim. Rachamim doesn't mean stam mercy, right? It means to say that there's a connection between the two things which allows one thing to care for the other thing. Chesed doesn't have anything to do with connection. It's the sun just shines. God just giving. It doesn't have to do with His connection with us. It just gives. He gives us the creation. Rachamim is about the connection. So just like a father will love his child and try to give him the best, even if he doesn't deserve it, He's giving it from Rachamim. You understand? Right? So the reason why there's a little bit of din mixed in there is not because that's a prerequisite to get the rachamim. It's because if you just give him everything, it's not going to be good for him in the end, right? So it's very different. It's coming from a whole different place. It has a little bit of din in there, but it's not the same shorish. People often get confused because rachamim has a combination of din and chesed in it. People get confused to think that it's just a little bit of a, din on the chesed, then it becomes rachamim. It's not what it is. It's a whole different source, right? In that source, there is a combination of both, but it's coming from a different place altogether. It's coming from the unity. That's why Yaakov is distinct from Avraham and Yitzchak. It's coming from a different place altogether, and it uses the chesed and the din to express the interconnection properly, right? So if the interconnection would say, if a father loves his son and he just gives him free lollipops all the time, it's not going to be good for him. What's going to be good for him is he deserves what he's getting a little bit. That's going to be good for him. But it's not coming because it's coming from the connection. What does Pesach mean, by the way, guys? You won't believe it. What does the word Pesach mean? You guys know? What does Pesach mean, She? I caught you over there. What does it mean?
Opening mean?
That's a Pesach, not Pesach. That's a good guess. Sounds the same. It's not.
Passing over.
Passing over.
So what? Passing over.
Oh, that's
Excellent. That's what everybody knows. That's what every good American knows.
But it's wrong.
No, it's also right. But there's another answer also that you might not know. You know what Pesach means? Rashi says from Chazal, it means rachamim. That's what it means. It means Pesach means rachamim. It's a rachamim offering because we're unifying with Hashem through it. What? Just look at Rashi. Rashi says it on the spot. Yes.
So does rachamim mean that we messed up?
Who's speaking? Is that Benji? Who is that?
No, it's Nady. It's Nady.
Nady, I don't see on my screen, so I can't. Okay, I see Nady S. It says you're hiding it. Nady.
I'm here.
There you are. Okay.
Hi.
Yeah.
So does rachamim mean that we messed up and we need help from Hashem, or it could just mean that He has a connection with us, or is it that we automatically
definitely means the latter, not the former? It means sometimes what happens is like this. It's an excellent question, and what happens like this. Sometimes we don't live up to the relationship properly, so that awakens din. Okay, so when in that case we want to awaken his rachamim. So we ask him to have rachamim on us. You know what I'm saying? But it's coming from rachamim. It's just when we ask him to have rachamim, it's because we might not deserve it. But we could ask him even if we do deserve something, we still ask him to have rachamim. You know what I'm saying? If we live up to the thing, he has rachamim automatically, but sometimes we don't. So he wants to, the relationship itself, he wants us to earn it a little bit. It shouldn't be a free gift. What we're getting is the relationship. Okay, so that's the reason why the Korbon Pesach itself is called rachamim, because that's exactly what it represents. It represents this idea of us becoming a direct extension of Hashem. Okay, so So how do we get to this whole point? That was just because the Pesach is eaten with the matzah, which represents the rachamim, and also and the maror, which is the din. So Korbon Pesach, that was the 10th thing that shows the unity, God's unity in this world. So when we're doing this avodah of the Korbon Pesach, we're becoming an extension of Hashem to reveal His unity into the world. That's what we're doing. That's what the Korbon Pesach represents. And that's really the foundation of all of our avodah throughout the whole year. Even if we're not so to do it this year, that's still the source. That's still the concept of Korbon Pesach. You guys got it?
Rob, is Mashiach coming within the next 50 years?
I mean, I hope so. I definitely hope so.
Wait, Rob, is this next class going to be on YouTube with the reference to Mashiach?
Oh,
because I haven't seen the previous classes on YouTube.
Yeah, what I've been doing is because not many people stay for the class. I just keep going. So what you have to do is if you want to see the Az Yashir classes, you just have to get this class and just go to the end and you'll see it. I haven't been making it 2 classes. They haven't been going an hour yet because people they can't stay the whole time.
Yeah,
so
I have a plug thing now.
People have chavrusas, they got to go, and it's kind of random every night depending on what happens. So that's where the classes are. So it'll be there or not depending on how many people stay, and it's all good. I think tomorrow what we're going to do, tomorrow's Thursday, it's already Rosh Chodesh Nisan. I do intend to keep going on these classes if you guys can keep making it into Rosh Chodesh. After Rosh Chodesh also means we'll do it next Sunday also. And I have more classes. Tomorrow I think we're going to do is the Haggadah. Yeah, the Haggadah is an amazing story of It's an amazing thing, and it's a beautiful.
No, Alex, shh. We know what it is.
So
We're gonna sing it.
We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. Yeah. We'll do that. B'ezrat Hashem. The Vilna Gaon's Pirish and the Haggadah B'ezrat Hashem tomorrow.
Oh,
And
that's
that was
right.
today's class. You guys You guys got it today?
Yeah, thank you so much, Rav.
Yeah, Rob, it was really incredible.
Well, anybody who wants
Danny,
to
when's
stick
the Vilna
around for
Gaon
an Az
lesson?
Yashir class can do so. We're just going to continue right along on our way.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Rob.
I have a
Thank
chut
you,
thing
Rob.
now, but I would love to stay, but I can't.
Thank you. I have like a chavrusa this time.
No,
Thanks.
I
But I
know.
really-
Alex, you tell me the same thing every night. I know it. I got it.
I don't want. I'm not ditching you, Rav. Don't worry.
No, I know. You would never ditch, man. That's fine.
Thanks, Rav.
Then we're going to.
Alex,
Who are you
stop
learning with,
being
Alex? Who do you learn with? Your
weird.
grandfather?
My grandfather, yeah.
The one I know?
No, the other one.
The other one. Okay.
Yeah,
Alex, you missed your roommate or what?
yeah. It's crazy that you're still there, no?
He's getting lonely. I think you guys got to make like a private chat, Alex and David.
Yeah, call me, Alex. Call me.
David needs some company.
He doesn't know my number. He forgot it.
Hopefully, we'll be back for Kaitzman.
B'ezrat Hashem.
Hello, bye.
Thank you so much for Mendel. Thank you.
Great to see you,
Rob.
Rob.
To see you.
Great to see you.
Have a great night. Maybe I'll see you later.
Thank you, Rob.
I'm gonna send you some papers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, who's still here? 1, 2, 3, 0. If it's 0, I'm going also. Okay, we got Benji and we got David.
How you doing,
You
Rabbi?
stick around,
I'm
Benji?
gonna stick around for a little bit.
Yeah, I am. I have a quick question on the show you just gave.
Okay.
I mean, it's not really fair because I came late, but
That's okay.
the Korbon Pesach. Can you leave stuff for a second?
Huh?
Sorry, can you leave stuff for a second? I hear myself twice.
Huh?
Can you just?
Oh!
What's it called? So the Korbon Pesach itself, you were saying in the beginning that was also one of the reasons that we were let out early, as well as like what's the whole premise of the Korbon Pesach? We explained how it was us showing that Hashem is gracious and Hashem is one.
Yeah.
But is that what was the whole premise in the beginning?
What was the whole what? The year started with a question. A very simple question. You heard the question at the beginning of this year. I know you came a little bit late. Did you hear the question?
No.
Okay, so the question is like this. The question is pretty straightforward. It's a very, very famous question in the Haggadah. We say we eat the Korbon Pesach because Hashem jumped over our house. He saved us when he hit the Mitzrayim.
Okay.
So the question is, since in hitting the Mitzrayim is talking about Makos Bechoros, which it is, so why in the world would we have to tell him thank you for saving us? He's coming down to kill the Mitzrayim. It'd be like a person, the metaphor we gave is like a person gets kidnapped and the policeman comes to save the person. He kills the kidnapper, he saves the person. And the person that got saved, he says, thank you, Mr. Policeman, so much for not killing me.
Right.
For not killing me, I came to save you. It's like, what are we talking about the Korbon Pesach? That the Korbon Pesach itself has a quality of thanking Hashem for saving us.
Right. Okay. Oh,
That's
okay,
the
fine.
question. And the
And
answer
then-
was, so we explained that we were in danger. You see that
Right.
there's something called the fast of the firstborns. So why were we in danger? Why were we in danger from Makos Bechoros?
Ah. Oh, okay, fine. And then that was the whole share.
That was the shir, basically. I wasn't sure it was
Thank
going to
you.
be the whole shir, but that's what ended up being the whole shir.
Thank you, Rav. And the side thing, sorry, I'm only able to stay till 10:30 because I have a chavrusa at 10:30. So if I leave early, it's not.
Don't worry.
Same here, Rav. You have two
Also,
Benjis.
cruise at 10:30?
Rav, you have
You guys
two
have cruise
Benjis.
together at 10:30?
Nah.
Okay,
He's
we're
too
breaking
stark
up.
to learn with me.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to start from over here tonight. Yeah, I don't know. David, I apologize. I don't. Were either of you guys here yesterday?
No.
I don't remember who was even here yesterday. You were here yesterday.
I was here.
Yeah, you were here. Okay, good. Okay, I'm going to go back at this point to the Pesach files. It says like this: Hashem Ish Milchama. This is where we kind of start breaking off a little bit. I told you a little more, but let's go back to over here for a second. Pick up from over here. David, you with us?
I'm with you.
Okay. Hashem Ish Milchama. Hashem Shemo. So.
I'm back.
Okay. Hashem Yishmol Chama Hashem Shmo. So each one of these psukim really, it has two sides to it, right? The second side is always coming, generally speaking, to say something, qualify the first side also. I don't know if I can explain that in every pasuk, but Rabbeinu Bechaya says it's a koach within a koach. So we'll do the best we can do. So when we say Hashem Yishmol Chama means he is a warrior. He knows how to do war. Hashem Shmo means to say that when Hashem fights, he's not just fighting to destroy the enemy, okay? He's doing it with Hashem Havai, which means everything's going to be exactly Mida Keneged Mida. The idea of Yud Kei Vav Kei oftentimes alludes to God's Yichud. Okay? So we say Hashem Shmo, that represents his Yichud, his oneness. Okay? Now we're going to see over here, I said all of these things that God caused to happen over here, they're all going to be Mida Keneged Mida on things that the Mitzrayim did to the Jews. Okay? So it starts off saying, Markavos Paro v'chelo Yara v'yamna. Yara means to say he threw them in. Yara means shoot, like you shoot an arrow. So he threw them into the Yam. There was a certain quality where they actually, some of them unfortunately explained that the wind came and like lifted them up and took them into the Yam. Shalom, Jackie.
Hi, Rabbi. How are you?
Welcome. Good. We're just
Sorry,
over here.
late.
We're in the middle of you weren't here yesterday, right?
No, I wasn't able to come.
Okay, so we went a little bit further in the Az Yashir. We got up to a Hashem Mishmol Chama Hashem Shmo. Okay, we're just explaining now that Hashem, when he does Milchama, he uses the Shem Havaya, that's Yud Kei Vav Kei, and that name particularly alludes to his oneness, to his unity. Okay, now we're going to see
Bro, is that where the power is at?
What?
That's where the main power is?
That's the power.
Is it? I'm being, yeah? Is it?
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of powers, but that's the main one. That's why.
That's the main one.
Just parenthetically, it says that all the midos of Hashem are going to be batal in the end, except for Mida Keneged Mida. You ever heard that before? I don't know. You might not have heard. You might have.
Never heard of it. I heard of Mida Keneged Mida.
There's something called Mida Keneged Mida. It says that's the main way Hashem relates to us. The reason for that, one of the reasons for that way a person gets what they deserve, but that's also an expression of God's oneness. One of the main things that God wants to explain to us, to reveal to us, the Ramchal has a book called Das Tevunos, which is it's the main chiddush of the book at a certain level, right, Benji?
Yeah.
That's the way of God.
That's
Ramchal.
It's the Ramchal, though. It is the Ramchal, right? One of the main chiddush of the Ramchal, one of his big chiddushim in Bechlal, and at least in the Nigla, is this idea of God's oneness, right? God's oneness is the Mida that he can express them, that we can really know him through. So when he works Mida Keneged Mida, that is an expression of his oneness, that you see he deals with each person, gives each person what they deserve because he's one and he's unified. So you see he's in charge of everything, give everybody exactly what they deserve back. You understand? So over here, when he's fighting the war over here, he's not just fighting with his koach, that wouldn't even be a fight, right? He's fighting with the name Hashem, which is going to give them exactly what they deserve, right? So over here it says, Markavos Paro v'chela Yeravayam. So the Mitzrayim, they threw the Jewish babies into the Yam. They made a gezerah to throw the kids into the Yam, right? So what Hashem did, he threw them into the Yam. That's what it says, Yeravayam, he threw them into the Yam. That's the Markavos Paro v'chela Yeravayam. So now they're in the Yam. We're going to talk about what happened to them in the Yam in a moment. Right now, Umivchar Shalishav, his most chosen strong ones, Tubu'u b'Yam Suf. Now the Meforshim explain that the Yam Suf, that's like closer to the shore, okay? And what they would do, they would generally send the main army in first, and they would fight, and then after the main army would be wherever it would be, and it would weaken the enemy, they'd send in the strongest people at the end to finish things off. So they were standing back towards the shore in something called the Suf. That's the Suf is like the reeds, right? So over there it says, Umivchar Shalishav Tubu'u b'Yam Suf. So Chazal say that's talking about that they basically drowned like in quicksand. Hashem made the shore, which was like muddy, he turned it into very sticky mud, and it pulled the Mitzrayim in, and they were just like dying in a, what's it called, quicksand it's called? Like in a tar pit, I don't know exactly what to call it. And Chazal explain, this is Mida Keneged Mida, because it says they made the Jews work with tit, they made the Jews work with chomer and levanim, with bricks and mortar, which is like working with the mud. So therefore, these people died in the mud. They died drowning in the mud. They suffered a lot. They were drowning in the mud over there. So they didn't even wait. Usually they come at the end. They were like standing back on the side to hold off to come into the war, and Hashem just got him right there. He didn't have to bring him in. He got him in their space, and he turned it into like a very deadly mud quicksand where they died. So that means they drowned in the Yam Suf, next to the reeds on the shore. You got it? Okay. Now what happened with those people in the water? Now it's interesting that Chazal tell us, so the words over here, Tahomos Yichas, he opened up the Tahom. Chazal say actually opened up the Tahom, that means like the depths. Now, that means he opened up a new bottomless pit into the bottom of the Reed Sea. The Reed Sea isn't so deep. It might be deep, but it ain't going to the Tahom of the world. Hashem opened up the Tahom there to allow them to drop right in, and they closed it on top of them. Okay? And it says, Yardu bimsos kumo Evan. Now, Chazal say, well, let me start this again. We know that the Mitzrayim, one of the ways they made the Jews suffer is they made them work on Ari Miskenot. You've heard of this before? That means that in very dangerous cities, and it wasn't because they really needed them to work. They were just trying to make them suffer, right? And they were called Pitom and Ramses. You've heard of this before? Pitom and Ramses? Jack, I'm talking.
Pitom and Ramses.
It's in the pasuk over there, right? So why is it called Pitom and Ramses? Because some of the city, Pitom means to say it was next to the Tahom, the mouth of the Tahom, the mouth of the depths. If you'd fall, they'd fall into an endless chasm going down. That's called Pitom. It's the P, the mouth of the Tahom. And Ramses is lashon of to Rames, which means to say, if a person would fall, if it was very high up and they get crushed, if they'd fall down, they get crushed. It's like Rames means to crush it. Okay, so that's why it's called Ramses, because the lesson of crushing, if they would fall, they would get crushed because of the fall. So what Hashem did over here in the ocean with these people, after he threw them around in the ocean like arrows, yeah, what he did, he opened up. Some of them went down to the Tahom. He opened up the Tahom, right? It says Tahomus Yichas Yumu. He covered them with the means that the Tahom opened up and he covered them over the Tahom. That's Keneged Pitom, because that's what they did to the Jews. Right, and then Keneged the Ramses, Chazal say that this was actually one of the miracles of the Yam. There's 10 miracles of Yam Suf. Chazal say one of them. You don't really. This doesn't jump out of the pasuk over here. I admit it, but I'm going to tell you what Chazal say and explain it. It says when they went down to the depths, they actually the water itself turned into stone. It turned into like ice, like stone. The Jews actually, we're going to see in a few psukim, the Jews actually walked on the water to a certain point, about a third way in, as we're going to see, Belev Yam, which is like 2/3 of the body. So they actually walked on the water. And what happened was the water itself turned into a wall. And what happened was the Mitzrayim would be cast against the wall and they'd get smashed to pieces. This is what David Melech, when we say what's it called in the before Rosh Hashanah, we say the slichos, not the slichos, the what do we call it? The slichos? What do you say before Rosh Hashanah? Slichos? Yeah, slichos. At the beginning of the slichos. Yeah, at the beginning of the Slichos, so you'll see there's like a lot of psukim over there. One of them has a Tehillim, which says that Hashem smashed the snake against the Yam. He smashed the snake, and Chazal say the snake means Mitzrayim against the Yam, and they explain how he smashed him against the Yam because it's some of this, that he turned the Yam into like a wall of stone, and he smashed them against it, and that can be understood very easily. That's Keneged Ramses, because the Mitzrayim wanted to smash the Jews against the ground. So Hashem, he didn't have to use the ground, he used the ocean. And he smashed them against the ocean, which turned into an Evan. That's what it says. Yardu bibesos kmo Evan. Right? He went down into the depths like a stone. Means to say the depths turned into a stone and they got cast against it. You guys understand? So again, that's all going to be Mida Keneged Mida. Okay. Now it says like this. Yamincha Hashem nedar b'koach, Yamincha Hashem tiratz oyev. Now this could be understood. Now we're going to notice in the next 3 psukim that it's talking in future tense. Future tense means it says like this: Yamincha Hashem nedar b'koach. That's not future tense. That's talking. It's laden. Nedarim. It's like it's laden with power. That's his power to save us. So he split the sea for us. That's alluded to in these words. It's laden with power. They can open up, even if he wants, he can open up the sea and we can walk right through. That's Keneged us. That's called his Yamin. Yamin's always chesed, right? And then it says again Yamincha, but it says that when you say Yamincha at first, you're usually talking about the small should be the second, but it says Yamincha again, which means that when Hashem was smashing them, which is what it's talking about now, it says Yamincha Hashem tiratz oyev. That's coming because of his love for us. That's his right hand, which is sticking up for us to smash them. It's not in his left hand. Now he's doing it from his right out of his love for us, which is the chesed he's doing for us. He's going to smash them. You understand?
Tiratz
That's
is
called
smashed.
Tiratz is definitely smashed, yes. Oyev. Now there's an interesting gematria which is brought down. If you add up the relation of Tiratz, actually, Tiratz is exactly going to be the gematria of Shor v'Chamor. Shor v'Chamor actually equals Tiratz. I'm not making this, I wouldn't have figured this out myself. They explain, the deep people explain this. Shor v'Chamor, that represents Yishmael and Esav. Esav is called a Shor. He's connected Yosef, who's Bechor Shor. The sign of Esav is a Shor, and Chamor is Yishmael, who's an Amdom l'Chamor. And they explain this interesting gematria in Tiratz. What's the gematria of Tiratz? It's going to be, if you take Tiratz, it's exactly 6, 7, 80. 6, 1 second. 600 and 600 and 760. Now, if you add Oyev is another 20, so that's 680. So that's actually this year. That's actually this meaning it's going to be, it's not 680, it's 67. 1 second. How does it work? He goes, Oyev is going to be 19. So they say you got two kolos over here this year, next year, last year. There's a certain potential for a gula over here. Tiratz Oyev is the gematria of last year plus the kolos this year. There's other things for Tav Shin Pei, and there's a Tav Shin Pei, and there's also for next year. So you have to know, who knows, B'ezrat Hashem, we'll hope to see the downfall of Yishmael and Esav coming up. So that's called Tiratz Oyev. And it says that the reason why it's future is because it's talking about the future. It says the Jews, when they went through Kriyas Yamsuf, they saw a lot of nevuah. It says the Shifchat Yam saw more nevuah than Yechezkel saw. And what did they see? We explained already this in the first class in Az Yashir. We explained that really they saw the future. They saw Yemos Mashiach. That's why it says at the end of the song, Hashem Yimloch Olam Va'ed, right? Because they already saw whatever this Tiratz Oyev was referring to. They saw it in their big screen TV right there. And they were alluding to it in the gematria, or however they were doing it over here in this Tiratz Oyev. So it's saying in the future, this is what they saw. He's going to be smash Esav and Yishmael, right? That's why it's called Tiratz Oyev, because that's what they saw in their nevuah right there. That's called Tiratz Oyev. Yeah. Uvarov go'oncha taros kamecha. Chazal explain, again, that's in future tense. Taharos is another lesson of smash, the ones who stand up against you. Now, Chazal make a drush. Why does it say kamecha? Who stands up against Hashem, right? So one drush is that anybody who stands against, when it's talking about Mitzrayim, it says anybody who stands up against the Jews is like they're standing against Hashem. So Hashem takes it, when the Mitzrayim weren't fighting against God, they're fighting against us, right? But when they fight against us, Hashem makes it as if it's fighting against him. So he sticks up for us, called Kamecha. There's another drush, which is a little bit deeper, that after the downfall of Yishmael and Esav, which is the four Golises, there's going to be something called Gog and Magog. You've heard of this before? Gog and Magog, that's like the final, all the nations kind of unify to wipe out the Jews. And really, Gog and Magog is really not fighting against Jews, really is fighting against Hashem. That's very clear in the Midrashim. Yeah? So that's why it says, Uvarov Go'oncha, this is connected Gog and Magog. Uvarov Go'oncha, Taros Kamecha, the ones who stand up against you, because that's the next step in history. Is going to be this guy Gog who's going to unify the world to come and fight against God. Okay, so that's the next step. Again, they saw all of this in their nevuah. This is what they saw, so that's what they're singing about. That's why it's in future tense. Taros is in future tense, that's right. And then it says, Tishalach Charon Chayochlem Muchakash. That's talking about Tchias Amesim. Then in the end it says everybody's going to get raised up in Tchias Amesim. In the Rishonim, they're not going to have any kind of a root. They won't have any roots of their avoda and their mitzvos. They're going to be just blown away like kash, like straw. Okay? Got it? There's another drush over, which is a little bit deeper. It says at times of Gog and Magog, we never know what's going to happen. We hope Mashiach is going to come this year, right? We never know. There's a lot of possibilities. But one idea in Gog and Magog is actually that there's going to be a certain quality of Tchias Amesim at some level of all of the Rishonim that ever fought against God. Which means basically Hashem is going to bring Nebuchadnezzar back to life. He's going to bring all the big Rishonim who destroyed the Beis Hamikdash and do terrible things to Jews back to life. And basically, he's going to tell them they should all try again together, right? They were successful, each one by themselves, but now at the end of days, he's going to call them back. And this is actually why it says, Ubarov Go'oncha Taros Kamecha, the ones you're going to raise up. Hashem is going to raise them all up and say, try that one more time. Let's just do it one more time. Everybody together this time.
Rava, Gaoncha, you said is like Lashon Magog or Gog.
It's not that lashon, but I'm saying this pasuk, Chazal say, is alluding to Gog and Magog.
And Gaoncha is, it's not like Gaon, like a genius. What's the Lashon of Gaoncha?
Gaon is lashon of
Like being a genius, pretty much?
No, it's not. We use it as genius, but it means like a person who's high up and exalted.
Okay.
I think it's lashon of Geut, which is like a Gaon, something which is like exalted and separated up for highness. That's what I understand.
Like
So we
Lashon
use
Ga,
it for,
Kigoga.
yeah,
Exalted.
I think that's the source of the language. When it's applied to like a noun, like a person, they call him a Gaon. He's just like exalted, raised up above. We use it as a person who's like a super Torah genius. We call it like a Gaon. There's also an allusion to the 60 Masechtas of Shas. Shas is like 60 Masechtas in the Mishnayos and stuff like that. So it's the gematria of Gaon is 60. He knows all 60 Masechtas. That's called a Gaon. Such a thing like that. Got it? So in any case, that's another idea of Gog and Magog. Hashem is actually going to bring everybody back. It could be through test tubes. I don't know how he's going to do it practically. Who knows? It could be some kind of cloning. I don't know. But in any case, there's some kind of a concept that perhaps if things work out like that, that's what's going to happen. Got it? Got it. Okay. So that's all of these are in future tense to emphasize what's going to happen. Okay. Now it says, Uvaruach HaPecha. Now it's going back to explain how he opened up the Yam. It says, Uvaruach HaPecha, with the wind, the ruach, the wind of your face. Apecha over here means little like the face, right? Nermu mayim, nermu can be understood in two ways. One way is nermu is lashon of arama, which means chachma. Okay, so we explained before in the first class. This is the third class, but we explained before in the first class that there is an opinion. The Vilna Gaon talks about this, that when it says nermu mayim, on the simple level, it means to say he made it look wise, which means to say he tricked them with the water. It means he opened it up and convinced the Mitzrim. It looked like it was going to be safe for the Mitzrim to come in. That's what it means on the simple level. But the Vilna Gaon says that there's a deeper illusion over here that actually gave it life. He blew, just like he blew in life force into man through his neshama, so too, Baruch HaPecha, Ner Mumayim, you made the water alive. He made it, the water was actually fighting, was actually had a nefesh which took it over from God, and the water actually fought against the Mitzrim. That's what he says, Ner Mumayim, you gave it wisdom to fight, you gave it life. That means Baruch HaPecha, Ner Mumayim, or you made it alive. Nitzvu, it stood up, Kamod Neid Nozlim, like a wall. And Neid is like a wall that was like dripping. Now Chazal say over here that the Jews could actually drink from the water, would actually be able to drink from the walls. It would give them water. It says fruit came out. It gave them a lot of different miracles. Hashem was showing is he was going to protect them, is giving them, nice things over there. Kafu tohomos plevyam. He froze the depths in the lave of the yam. So the Rishonim explained the lave of the yam is just like the person's heart is 2/3 of his body, more or less. So too, Hashem didn't want to be matriach the Jews to go all the way down to the bottom of the yam. It's a long journey down. So he actually, when they went down a third, he made the water hard. And they actually walked on the water. So they didn't have to go down the whole way. That's what it means. Kafuta homos, he made it frozen. He froze the water, so it was like a little ice skating rink down there. And they could just like walk on the water to finish off their journey, so they didn't have to go down any deeper. So this is all describing what Hashem did. Yeah. The other idea of Nirmu means to say, Nirmu is lashon of an arima, which means he piled up the water. He piled it up with the wind. Okay, you got it. So this is what he did with the water. Yeah. Now it says, Amar oyev erdof asiga chalek shal tivlomer timlaemu nafshi arikar bitar shimon yadi. Now this, I don't know if I made this up. Unfortunately, I don't know. I thought Chazal said. I never found it. I thought I saw it in Chazal, but I'm going to tell you what I thought I saw in Chazal. If it didn't talk, it was my idea. I thought I saw it. I'm almost positive I saw it someplace, and for some reason I can't find it again. But there's a question: why is this statement in the middle of the song? Right. This over here is what the enemy said before they came into the Yam. And the simple level, these statements should have been there before the song started. You understand what I'm saying? Yes? Good? Okay. So
What it should have been in the beginning of the song?
Before the song, this is what they said. Amar Yev, the enemy said, I'm gonna run after our dolphins, I'm gonna run after them, our seamen are gonna catch them, I'm gonna split up the loot, the treasure, I'm gonna fill up my soul, which means I'm gonna take all the bounty back. I'm going to empty out the sheath of my cherub. I'm going to take out my sword, Torah Hashem Yodi, and I'm going to, get them with my hand. Right? So this is what they should have said before. So the question is, why is it in the middle of the song? You understand? So I'm sure I saw it someplace. But what I think I saw was that this was actually one of the biggest miracles of the whole event. Why was this one of the biggest miracles of the whole event? So imagine you're walking in New York late at night, okay, and you see a very big guy, right, walking across. Doesn't look such a nice guy. You're watching him in the distance. You see, he comes up to a little guy. Right? He picks up the little guy and he tells the little guy, yeah, give me your money. Yeah. And the little guy, he's terrified. He takes his wallet out and he gives it to him. And then the big guy, he's holding up this little guy. He breaks his arm. He breaks the little guy's arm. He already gave him his wallet. He breaks his arm. Yeah, David, you're going crazy over you. Okay, David? Yeah. And he says,
I'm doing a play-by-play.
Play-by-play. Okay, just everybody keep your eyes on David. If you're not confused about what I'm saying, David's going to give us a play-by-play, right? So then he says, give me more money. And he says, I don't have any more money. He breaks his right arm. Smash, right? Then the guy's crying, leave me alone. He said, I'm not going to leave you alone. He says, give me your other wallet. Give me more money, right? And then he breaks his left leg. And he keeps going. And he breaks his right leg again, right? And then he punches him in the face. And the guy is a rag. He's totally smashed up. He's bloody. He's destroyed, right? And then the guy, thank you, David, right? The guy, he drops the guy, and the big guy starts walking slowly off. And you're watching this whole thing. He's walking slowly off. He gets up to the, to the corner, and he's looking to the right. He's looking to the left. Doesn't look like exactly knows where he made up his mind to go. And imagine, Jackie, you see this whole thing. You walk up to the little guy, right? And you tell him, it looks like he's lost. You tell him the little big guy looks like he's lost. He's, you can still catch him. You get your money back. Run. You can still catch him. He looks like he doesn't even know where he's going. What do you think the little guy's going to tell you, Jackie?
He's not going after him.
He's going to tell you you're crazy. he's both of his legs are broken. His arms are broken. His face is punched in. And the guy's getting away. He doesn't care let him get it. He wants him to leave. Right? Why am I telling you this story? I don't know.
That's exactly what the Mitzrim did.
That's exactly what the Mitzrim did. That is exactly what happened. They just went through hell for a year. They went through 10 makos. They had locusts above their head. They had darkness. They had the firstborns were just killed. They had blood. They had, they were swimming in lice. And the Jews are getting away. It looks like they're lost. Let's go get them. It's like they were begging them to leave for already 6 months. After the first 6, they were after those boils, they had it. That was it. They were trying. Par wouldn't let them leave. You understand? Now they're coming to run after them.
Sorry, why would they even go after them to the water in general instead of going in? But why they even go to the edge of it?
Why would they even show up? The fact that they even showed up to run after the Jews, that is the biggest miracle. The only reason they did it, Hashem did it. It wasn't they didn't have free will. Hashem hardened their hearts. That was the thing. So they realized that's one of the reasons it could be why it's in the middle of the song. Because they're singing about are they crazy? Amaroyev, the enemy said this, he said that, right? It's showing that Hashem is just control of everything. He's also controlling the enemy. But they would be so stupid to say this after they saw what Hashem did them for a year straight. It was a year of getting beaten to pieces. You understand what I'm saying? Right? So this was their excitement. They saw Amaroyev, the guys are crazy. Right? So that's why it's in the middle. It's one of the reasons it could be why it's in the middle of the song. You got it?
Could it have been?
What?
Could it have been that that it was in the middle of the Yom Tov, like they were being destroyed, and in the middle of it, Hashem hardened their hearts and I'm going to continue after the Jews, even though they see it.
No, for sure not. They were they said God's fighting for them. They knew they didn't have a chance. Once it was already in the middle. This is what they said before. They're going to run after them. They're going to catch them. This was not in the middle. Once they already got there, they realized it was all set up, for sure. That's what the Pesukim explained it before this parak, last parak. Yeah, but there's also an allusion. There's 5 olives over here. There's 5 olives. Now it says Amor Oyev. So Chazal actually are dorish this on the different guluses. They say Oyev is Paro, Erdof is Nebuchadnezzar, Asig, Achalek. And then it says, I don't know, that's talking about Gog and Magog. I forget exactly the lashon of Chazal, but it makes an allusion to all the different guluses. Again, this is what the people saw over there, that all these different enemies are going to say when they're running after God. He's running after the Jews through all the generations. Hashem's always going to get them at the end. Yes, there's also an allusion to that over here. I don't remember exactly. You have to look at Chazal. I forget exactly how it goes. But there's an allusion to all the future guluses also until the final one. Okay. Now it says like this. Micha mocha. Was it you got a charusa? It's 10:30.
Yeah, are we going on for a bit longer?
I could do another puzzle with you guys if you want. If not, we could do it tomorrow night. We can just continue tomorrow. It doesn't make a difference to me so much.
So we can do another pasuk. I'm not gonna.
Okay. Micha mocha. So now that was the story of Yam Suf. Now we are singing to Hashem. This is something which we say again every day before in the third bracha of the Shema. Micha mocha boilim Hashem. Who is like you, the strong ones Hashem? Micha mocha nedar b'kodesh. Who is nedar means esteemed. Nedar is like esteemed with holiness. Nora tehilos osafela. He is Nora tehilos. So when it says Nora tehilos, Nora always means something that is more than you can conceive. Nora is always something that's more than you can conceive. And we talk about Nora as fear, but over here it means Nora tehilos means to say his praises. Means if you want to start praising Hashem, you better be careful. Because anything you're going to say is not going to do it. That's called Nora Tehilos. You understand? It's called Nora Tehilos. Means his praises are more than you can conceive how praiseworthy he really is. Osafela, he does wonders, right? One of the concepts of wonders is he combines the spiritual and the physical together. That's one concept. He's Osafela. Chazal say what we say after we go to the bathroom, and the Beis Yosef explains, it says, so he connects in Hashem and Gufs and gives us life, right? So the concept, what's the idea of Kodesh? Let's go back for a second now, right? Who is strong? Eli means the strong ones. Who is like you, Elim Hashem? Okay. Now, when we talk about Hashem's strength, right, we're saying no one is like Hashem in his strength. Who is like you? And on that parallels the idea of Nora Tehilos, that Hashem is not only the strongest, but his praises are beyond comprehension or beyond us. So it's not just he's the best in strength, he's the best in praises also. His praises are beyond comprehension. Then it says, Mi chamocha neder b'kodesh. Okay, so Kodesh means separateness over here. Kodesh means something which is separate. Hashem is above, he's God. There's a difference in creation and godliness. Kodesh is always about godliness. So he is neder because he's separated from everything else, right? And that will be considered, that's going to be parallel to the Osa Fela. He does Pella. Pella is something we can't understand. He can do things that are just beyond our comprehension. We don't know how they work. The splitting of the sea, we don't know how it works. It's something which is, Pella is lesson of amazingness. It's separated from us. It's beyond us. That's parallel to the idea of Kodesh. Neder b'kodesh, he's constantly doing Pellas that we can't really understand how he does it to keep the world going. You understand? And the whole, the whole Kriyas Yam Suf is an expression of both these things. He's the strongest. He's the most praiseworthy for us. He's doing this Pella of, making the Yam split and holding it up and turning it into stone and doing all these things that are just beyond us. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's another puzzle. That's the that's his praise over here. Micha mocha oilim Hashem. This is actually Maccabee. You ever know that's what Maccabee stands for? Yehuda Maccabee is Micha mocha oilim Hashem. Maccabee. Got it? Okay. Okay, guys, we will continue. Tomorrow we're going to talk in Pesach. We're going to do our Haggadah Yashir, I believe. And we'll continue on our way in Az Yashir as well. B'ezrat Hashem.
Thank you so much,
wonderful evening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rav.
They have like a half a day fast here tomorrow. You guys aware of this?
I think it's
Is
worldwide.
that in
Is it worldwide?
America also?
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
worldwide.
So I'm
I think it
wondering.
might just be Israel.
Huh?
Possible.
Jack, you heard about this?
I don't know.
I
heard
think
the
it might
guys
be
on the
just
show.
Israel.
Oh, really?
Just Israel. So have a good breakfast.
Thank you.
Okay. They got Here we got a little half a day fast
Thank
tomorrow.
you, Rav.
Okay.
Thank you, Rav.
Short day.
That's
Have a
Shkaya.
good evening, guys. Good evening,
You
good
too.
morning, whatever, good afternoon. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, Rav. Appreciate it.
See you.
Thank
1 o'clock.
you.
Yeah.
See you.
1?
I told you 1. We're gonna do it
We're doing
1.
1?
So
All right, Bezat Hashem.
I'm gonna try. If they kick me off, they'll kick me off. I hope it'll be. I think it'll be okay. I'll ask. I'll send an email now to ask them to make sure it's okay. I think it'll be.
Thank you.
Bezat Hashem.